Well, I would say that Kevin McCarthy is off to a great start as the Speaker because I think these actions were well overdue. What the Democrats did in the 117th Congress to perfectly well qualified Republicans, thereby stripping their own representatives of representation in Congress, was outrageous. These actions, by contrast, are not outrageous. They're actually in response to serious transgressions that each of these Congress people have exhibited in Congress. And so when you add that to the rules concessions that were made, that absolutely hew to conservative principles, and I actually wish that Kevin McCarthy had started out with this rules package instead of having it be extracted from him. But however we got there, it looks like we're off to a great and conservative start to this new Congress.
What's up, everybody? Welcome, everyone, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Rumble. We are back. Not that we were really gone, but last week we had a special episode. I hope you guys did tune in. That tribute to Tony DeMott, which I think, it was not a funeral. There was a lot of discussion about like what's really going on in Michigan politics and has been for over the years. So if you haven't seen that, I hope you do check it out. But anyway, our lovely co-hosts are back for the return to normal order. We've got a lot to talk about. A few things have happened in the last 2 weeks. So how are you doing? By the way, we may see Shane come in too. I don't know. He's saying he was having internet problems or something. But how are y'all doing? How was your New Year's?
Great.
It's
I'm like, did you see me like I have to think for a second? Because I'm like, it's been that long.
It's amazing how time flies. It was only 2 weeks ago. It was New Year's.
Did we do a show New Year's Day?
Yes, we did.
Okay, we did, yeah.
Yeah, New Year's
I
evening.
can't remember either. Like time is, oh gosh,
yeah,
forever ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty well fried too. It's been a mile a minute. I'm now the executive director of my county GOP, and we've been moving into a new office and getting a whole bunch of new people on committees and building a new website and all kinds of fun stuff. So, God, this whole weekend has just been meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. So,
Same here.
I'm pretty exhausted, and the fun's only just starting.
Well,
I've been binging shows.
when you become
Lucky.
11th chair, district chair, you're going to be busier than all of us.
11?
No, 6 districts. Sorry, we're saying farewell to the 11th this week. I'm really excited because I cleaned something from my plate.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really, really excited.
Yeah, we are no longer. My county used to be a part of Tim Walberg's district, and now it's not, and that's a relief for me personally. I'm glad we're all just in one team against Debbie Dingle now.
Much happy to be against Debbie Dingle.
Yeah, it's great. I can vote Republican again. As a joke, I'm kidding. We have Walberg's a rhino, but anyway, whatever. He's not our problem anymore.
He's no Debbie Dingle.
Yeah, this is true, but not by much. No, Wahlberg. Okay, he's no Adam. No, who's the Republican I'm thinking of? The one from, it was Adam Kinzinger. He's no Adam Kinzinger. He's not that bad, but
he doesn't cry all the time.
But he ain't no Matt Gaetz. So
Matt Gaetz is a stud. He was on Tim Pool on Friday night. It was a good show.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was good. And Tim Cast.
Speaking of that, by the way, remember a while ago we had a bet on this show about whether or not Kevin McCarthy be the next speaker. Someone's collecting. But no, in all seriousness, nobody could have predicted that the Freedom Caucus was going to pull that off. And maybe there's got to be some word for those people, because the Freedom Caucus ain't the right description, because they're not the entire Freedom Caucus. But we can't say the Gang of 20, because there's some other Gang of 20, isn't there? That's like the pro-immigration group or something.
Oh, there's more. Sorry, forgive my lack of knowledge.
Yes.
So the Freedom Caucus is bigger than that. I didn't know how many.
Yeah.
How many people are in
the Freedom Caucus
Caucus?
splintered off of the RSC, but they weren't entirely united about that in that whole game plan. Sorry, I'm ready to interrupt.
No, I just asked how many people are in there.
Let me look. Hold on.
There's no comments yet, people. Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, people on Rumble are chatting. Hey, Jojo Pixie Poo and Bones Mama.
Hey, Jojo.
Hey, Jojo Pixie Poo. How are you?
I love that.
There may be connection issues too. Sometimes, and they never tell us.
There is Facebook.
Thank you,
Richard.
Ciao, ciao. Richard.
There
Lush-
are 53 members of the House Freedom Caucus, so it was not even half of them
Oh.
that participated in the
Is Thomas Massey
spectacle.
in the Freedom Caucus?
Yes, he is.
It's
And
awesome
Jim
when you
Jordan.
stand up. I mean, I wish that more people stood up. And I think that what they did get in compromise was amazing. And reading the stuff that McCarthy is going to stick to is just really exciting for the future of what we could have if we actually stood for our principles as Republicans. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah.
I thought because, during the week, there was like a lot of concessions they were already giving out. I think there was a list that came out. Let me see if I can find it. It came out like on Tuesday. And they're pointing out that the Freedom Caucus members had already gotten a lot of things even by then. And they were still not budging.
They
And I was
weren't
like,
budging.
ooh.
And guess who was telling them to just vote, shut up and vote?
There was a lot of people telling them that.
Oh, yeah. But who was the number one? Trump.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Before they got all those concessions. Yep.
Yeah, somebody is not looking like a great negotiator. Not that Trump ever looked like a good negotiator with Congress, but this was the guy who, remember when he signed the budget in 2017? He was like, I'm never going to sign a budget like that ever again. He signed every other one. But no, anyway, so here's the list. This is like on Tuesday. Remember, they convened on Tuesday. And it took them until I think it was Friday night before they finally struck a deal. But Tuesday, they pointed out they already conceded to Andrew Clyde's proposal to restore public access to the Capitol, Lauren Boebert's proposal to reduce the linkage between the NRCC and the steering committee, Gary Palmer's proposal to cap spending on suspension bills, Ralph Norman's proposal to limit leadership reports and make conference more engaging to all members, Chip Roy's proposal to provide a 5-day notice for suspension votes, Dan Bishop's proposal in a privilege resolutions, Scott Perry's proposal for additional conference meetings ahead of key votes. Anyway, there's a bunch of others of these, and they were not one of them came over. And meanwhile, remember the other thing that happened was the first round of voting. I think most of them voted for Jim Jordan, who himself was telling him, "I'm voting for Kevin McCarthy."
Mm-hmm.
And then they switched over to Byron Donalds,
Byron, I think, from
Byron,
Florida. Yep.
who nobody had ever heard of. And it was like, ooh, this looks like they don't have a plan. And if they're not making any progress when there's all these concessions, I mean, that could have gone sideways easily. McCarthy might have said, you know what? I don't have the votes, and it might have gone to someone else. Or they might have cut some kind of crazy deal with the Democrats. But, Matt Gaetz knew what he was doing or something. They knew McCarthy better than others.
What Gaetz said on Friday night was because he AOC, because he was caught talking with like AOC and Omar and like different people. But he said he was talking to AOC because she was working to make sure all 212 Democrats stayed and voted.
Oh, boy.
Because otherwise, McCarthy would have won with a lower amount, right?
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, she was helping them.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
At least she's helping somebody. She certainly never helps their own caucus.
And he also said they worked together a lot with the I don't know what the squad, I guess, whatever, the left, populist left, I guess.
Yeah.
That they would work on things together until like January 6th, and then they got scared. But anyway, but there's a lot of things. I mean, we knew that though. We knew that from Bernie. There was a lot of overlap with Trump and Bernie.
Yeah.
So.
And the left, who are like Glenn Greenwald watchers and Jimmy Dore watchers, all were noticing, number one, and they've been beating this drum this entire past couple of weeks, is that the Democrats, the Republicans shamed the progressive Democrats in getting what they were fighting for. Because Jimmy Dore himself, when the Democrats got the majority in what was it, 2021 or even before then, 2019, I think, he said, we should demand a roll call vote on socialized medicine, or as they call it, Medicare for all. And of course, the squad all buckled and went along with the Democrat party line. And Greenwald keeps pointing out, like, all of these so-called progressives, the ones who campaigned against Hakeem Jeffries and against the Democrat machine, now they're all doing exactly, they're in lockstep. They follow the machine. They're all a fraud. They're not setting up to the party's establishment whatsoever. And the Republicans actually did and actually pulled it off. And what we got out of this was like the biggest improvement in congressional procedure we've had in decades. I mean, that we actually have an open process again is huge. Like when I worked in Washington, they still had some amendment process left, but that got gutted under Paul Ryan and destroyed under Nancy Pelosi. And the Freedom Caucus brought it back, and that's huge, man. That is enormous. So, and let the party begin, because there's going to be a lot of hearings coming up. We're hearing a good bit about Joe Biden's classified documents. Something just came out today about Hunter Biden paying, what was it, $90,000 a month in rent to his dad, whose own tax filings apparently disagree with that. So
stupid.
They're in a little bit of trouble, I think. I think they're getting thrown under the bus. I think the Democrats know like Joe Biden's a no-go for 2024, and this is the beginning of the end for him. This is his Cuomo moment.
We'll see.
I don't know. Barnes talked about that a little bit tonight, but I had to turn it off midstream. So he didn't seem to agree, but I don't
agree. I think it's going to blow over, and we're all going to forget about it, and the next news cycle is going to come around, and we're all going to play dumb.
Well, but the Democrats do have a problem with Joe Biden as a candidate, because he's getting more and more senile and more corrupt, on a regular basis. I mean, there's not much more.
He's been corrupt. I mean, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, everybody's enabling it. So
exactly.
Who cares? Like, I mean, I saw it in the primary. I mean, if you know that, if you've experienced that in your life with an elderly person in your life, you saw the signs. When they were having the Democratic debates, you saw the signs in Biden. Yeah,
but there's so many things that are going to be going on with the economy between now and November 2024. When 2020's election happened, I mean, other than the damage from COVID that was just
now,
starting.
And we still got our asses handed to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was a state race, and that was in Michigan. That wasn't everywhere. That was especially and uniquely in Michigan how badly we did.
We only got a 5-seat majority.
That's Michigan did worse than that. Yeah, Michigan did worse than that.
But I mean, we should have gotten 40 seats. Like this was unheard of how bad this was federally as well in Congress.
I don't think saying we only picked up so many seats is. I mean, yeah, could it have been better? Of course, it could have been. Should have been better. Yeah, maybe, but nonetheless, I mean, what we're talking about in the next few years is,
So we have a huge problem.
Yeah, well,
messaging,
it's gonna be like when
outreach. And we can't focus on one thing like the economy because, Republicans like to put themselves on fire and run around talking about everything under the sun, except for the stuff that'll win them elections.
Oh, we'll see.
I miss
but the economy's going to be really. I mean, what's going to happen in the next 2 years? Well, let's see. First of all, Medicare or Social Security is insolvent.
This is his predictions. Should we write them down? So he's
write it down. Write it down.
Should we make a bet?
You want to keep betting? We can keep betting.
Double or nothing?
Yeah.
Double or nothing.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't bet on the presidency just yet because we don't know who the nominee is going to be, and Trump's got his own set of problems. But 2024 is going to be a good election in the House and Senate, I'm sure.
I'm really excited about 2024. But anyway, what is your projection? I said I'm excited for 2024. I really think I'm going to flip my county. So
yeah, huge military losses are already starting to happen now. In Ukraine, the EU is falling apart. Gas is skyrocketing. The National Reserve is depleted. Russia and China are becoming best allies. BRICS is taking on all of the West. It's going to be a really, really, really bad economy. And Trump can lay all that at the feet of the Bidens, NATO, and everything that he had fixed up. They broke all of it. Yep. So that's coming.
We have chickens. So we're like huge right now. I love all those chickens.
Oh my God, you're gonna be rich. You're selling eggs?
I should sell. Well, yeah, I should sell eggs. One for $3.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing. Adam has chickens with eggs.
Yeah, unfortunately, we got more cocks than hens, but just because someone doesn't have the heart to shoot the ones we don't need.
Oh.
But anyway,
just like the MLK statue.
Have you guys seen the new MLK statue? I got to put this up on the screen. That's unreal.
Bill Hamilton says, I would love to see Oakland County flip back red. Come join the movement, Bill. It's going to be really exciting. That's all I can hold on to. So that's the only hope I'm holding on to is flipping Oakland County, or else I'm going to Arkansas.
Here, let's see this.
Canton, Michigan. Hello, Dan Kafala.
What up, Canton?
Where's the image?
I love Canton.
go.
Matt was from Canton. I used to spend a lot of time there. My husband, before he was my husband.
That's not even the bad.
Happy MLK Day, everybody.
That doesn't even look that bad compared
there's
to
worse. There's worse angles for that.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what we got here.
Well,
I like the heart one.
that one with the guy with a little.
I don't know. This is pretty creepy, I would say.
Yeah.
Is that the one you like, Patty?
I like that one. That was my favorite. My favorite
This
angle.
one, no, this
It's like
one
a heart.
They all look like something
No.
that shouldn't. Oh, come
No.
on.
Yeah, that's about.
Yeah, that's the angle right there. Happy MLK, everybody.
That's one of them. Anyway,
Oh,
go to Twitter. Go to
boy.
Twitter. Search MLK sculpture and just laugh. Just get some nice laughs.
All right. Well, let's not
belly laugh. Not now.
Let's not slow down
but,
the pace of the show too much. But yeah, this is pretty obnoxious. All right,
So
all right. Anyway, speaking of MLK Day, though, by the way, since it is tomorrow, a good time to remind people that the left has just completely destroyed his legacy altogether. You know, so much for all that
peace.
Judging a man not by the color of his skin, but the content of his character.
Yeah.
Anyway, so getting back to major rule changes, I said something in our email blast earlier this week about how this is going to be something that's going to trigger events all over the country with legislative reforms. And apparently some people in our state kind of misinterpreted what I was saying because there became this last minute fight for some rules changes in the state house earlier this week. And well, some people in the Republicans in Lansing made a play in the state house. And unfortunately, there was a kind of a difference between the state house and the Congress. You see, in Congress, in the U.S. House of Representatives, the Republicans had a majority with a J and an A, whereas in Lansing, they have a minority with an N and an I. And if you're going to try to change the rules in the chamber you're in, you got to have a J, not an N. Because when you have an N, the people with the J can really screw you over good. And that's what they did. So I don't know how much detail I want to elaborate on this, but apparently there was a vote for the rules that 8 of them voted against, and the Democrats got wind they're going to vote against in advance because there was a leak, because of course there was. And so they changed the rules. They were going to give the Republicans the gavel for a second to pass the rules they agreed on. Instead, the Democrats ran the speaker vote first, changed the rules they're going to pass, screwed the Republicans over, and then also kicked, I think, 8 of them off of any number of committees they were going to be on. And a bunch of them got 0 committees, 1 committee, rather than typically the majority gets 3 apiece and the minority gets 2. Sometimes a few of them get a little bit extra. And yeah, so we've got some members in the Republican side who haven't even done anything yet, and they have 0 committees.
But I have a question about that. So if you're looking at federal and you say that they're in the minority and majority, you're going to play the N and the I game, whatever. When you see the Democrats voting on the federal level, they were in the minority and they still voted against Republicans.
Yeah, but that's what they've always done.
So why can't we do that?
Because in Lansing, the speaker has a ton of power, and that's been the custom. And usually it's the Democrats that have to destroy the precedent first. For example, when the U.S. Senate nuked the filibuster when the Democrats were in power, then the Republicans got in power, and they're like, well, you guys nuked the filibuster for the judicial nomination, so we're going to keep right on ahead going. But when Republicans had the majority 2 years ago, and 4 years ago, and 6 years ago, and 8 years ago, the Democrats all voted unanimously for the speaker. So this year, the Republicans are in the minority for the first time in ages, and they're going to go, oh, I know you guys always voted for our speakers unanimously, but now this time we're not going to vote for your speaker this time. And unfortunately, there's only 8 of them.
I absolutely agree with that. I absolutely agree with that. Because if you were going to go to your constituents and call every single one of them, should I vote for a Dem speaker? They would probably say no. I know that's a bad precedent to set.
But what was their leverage? They had none.
Their leverage is to go to 2 people that are in like not safe districts and try to convert them into Republican speaker. That would have been the best bet.
Try to get Democrats who just won majority to vote for Republican for speaker.
Yep,
No,
or
they
did
can't
two.
Why in the world would they? Why would they do that?
They could have tried. They should have tried.
Well,
and I'm sick and tired of saying, well, the Democrats set the precedent. Well, I think we've let them set the precedent a little too long.
What did Republicans get from this fight, and what could they have possibly gotten from this fight?
It showed that they have a backbone. They showed there's 8 people that actually are fighting for their Republican constituents. That's what it shows.
I don't think it's good to get into bad fights and to lead people into losing battles.
I don't think it's a bad
the
fight.
Democrat speaker still would have won.
He still would have won.
Yeah,
they still should have voted.
And Tate of all
exactly.
people
I completely agree with you, Patty. They still would have won. It would have solidified your base. It would have given a bone to your base. It would have made us happy. Because we don't want to see, it's gotten to the point where there's no unifying with the Democrats. It's just none. Our economy is effed. My kids can't go to public schools because they don't know what they're teaching. I can't go to my freaking library. Okay, we have nothing to lose. You vote no.
But they did have things to lose, and they did lose them. They lost on rules. They lost on committees.
They lost on rules and committees because the Dems are crazy, and they didn't give them one.
No,
and now they fight.
No, they had the deal worked out, and the Democrats threw it out after they found out there was going to be a bunch of no votes on the speaker.
A bunch.
And they gave them the excuse to.
A bunch.
Yeah, 8.
Yeah, no, and then the Republicans will look at these 8 and ostracize them.
Yeah, well, and what I'm hearing, and by the way, seeing a little bit in chat, and what I've been hearing about in the field is, no, it's the other Republicans who are being ostracized for voting for the speaker. But here's the question for you. Are there any Democrats in the House who are extremists? Are there any extreme Democrats in the House? Any of them?
Well, I think that okay.
I mean, wait. I mean, seriously, serious question. Are there any Democrats at all in Lansing in the House who are lunatic, radical extremists?
I think everybody's an extremist.
Like
I
Julie
really think,
Brixey, Lori
I think everybody's an extremist at this point.
So there's lots of them, and yet who they vote for speaker 2 years ago? The Republican.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
8 years ago. Well, but it does to them because the Democrats looked and said, we always voted for your speakers. And we always showed you decorum because we knew you had the majority.
Now you're saying because we blew up the system, we set the precedent that now they're not going to cooperate? I don't care if they cooperate. I want to solidify our own base. I don't care if the Dems vote for the Republican speaker.
It didn't solidify our own base. It damaged our own base.
I don't care if a Democrat votes for our Republican speaker. I don't care. I care if a Republican.
Well, good, because they're not going to.
It doesn't matter anyway.
It doesn't matter.
We win anyway.
What a silly thing. Matter.
That means nothing except custom. Who cares?
Custom, right? There's no more custom. We've lost our sanity in our state, in our country. Now we just fight, and nobody's fighting. I don't agree with any of that.
Yeah. See, look at this. This is all they got for their fight. Our chair in Macomb County just told voters, again, this chair, who has no business being a chair.
Right.
He just says to our voters, this guy's the county Republican chair who's, and clearly therefore a fraud because he's dishonoring the office, told voters that the Republicans voted for the Democrats were rhinos. So this guy who calls himself a Republican chair is urging Republican voters to attack Republican lawmakers in his own county.
Right, I'm not telling you're doing the same thing. You're attacking the 8.
You're attacking the 8, exactly. And I'm not talking about foreign. Number one, I don't want to ever hear the word rhino again. Because now the word rhino means you're experienced. Same thing with establishment. Get rid of those 2 words. It's the uniparty that I'm fighting against. That I'm fighting with the get along to go along to get along. The people that want to be career politicians. I'm fighting against those people.
Yeah, well, fight against them on legislation, things that have policies, not fights of grandstanding over a speaker vote you can't possibly win and ended up costing us rules, costing us committee assignments. I mean, they went in there with...
Yeah, go ahead.
They went in with no plan. They got no benefit at all.
That is true. We do lack strategic planning. We just do. I feel like, we think first or we act first, think later, and I'm guilty of it too. but we don't have time to strategize sometimes. It's like stuff is getting thrown at us so fast. It's ridiculous. And I heard that those rules came out 2 hours before the meeting when it's supposed to be 3.
Oh, 2 hours instead of 3. Oh.
No, that's the rules though. The rules say that you're supposed to get rules and correspondence 3 hours before the meeting, and it only came out within 2. It's the rules. If you go against the rules, you go against the rules, and you're breaking a rule. It's bad precedent.
I don't know. When we worked in Washington, we had to read a 1,000-page bill in one night, and it was hard, but we got it done. I mean, the rules, they should have known what they were looking for. They should have had that all planned in advance.
They don't. It was their first fucking week. Excuse my language.
Not for Steve Carr, it wasn't. Not for Matt Maddock, it wasn't. He's in his 3rd term now. They had no expectation. They couldn't know what the rules were 2 years ago and say, oh, here's what's different.
We don't, what? Why are you, see, you're fighting against Republicans right now. See, you are doing exactly what you just told us not to do.
Ones that broke with the caucus?
You know what? And Matt Maddock is my rep, and I'm proud of him. As his constituent, I'm proud of my state rep.
What did he do for you besides get 0 committees for himself?
He showed me that he cares about what I would want him to do. And I think that means a lot.
By making a bad fight that gets you nothing.
It was a great public display then to his base.
Yeah, well.
And maybe that public display will get him some donations, because it's all about the money. It's all about the donations. Hopefully he has the foresight to capitalize on that donation-wise. I don't know.
We'll see.
But right now, I'm tired and sick and tired. And I am sick and tired of the rhino calling, but Foreign was going to do that either way.
Yeah, well, this is true. This is true.
I mean, I have a lot of feelings right now. And 2 of those people that were no votes were in my county. And I mean, I appreciate them.
Yep. I should read some comments because we have some catching up to do.
There's some good ones on Facebook too. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I always want to. I always make a point to check on Rumble because I easily miss them.
Rumble's on the ceiling.
Oh, and that's another thing I wanted to bring up is Tate.
Oh yeah, I really am looking up high, aren't I? You know, let me change this. I switched my monitor configuration around so that I've got one above me instead of like 3 in a row going across. But you're right, that looks awful on the air. Now that I see what it looks like, I'm going to change that.
And I don't know about Tate. I should probably read into him, but he's a Democrat from Detroit. You can't even fix your own city, and you're going to fix the state. That bothers me. It bothers me. My car got broken into in Detroit. Like, can't even fix your own county, city. What'd you say?
There could be plenty worse Democrat speakers than him. Trust me. Anyway, Jojo Pixie Poo says they're looking for a way to move away from. Oh, this is going back to talking about Biden. They're looking for a way to move away from Joe Biden in 2024. We didn't vote. We had a selection, not an election, in 2024. Will be nothing. Wake up. Disagree, Charlotte. And if that's your position, why are you even here? If you think elections don't matter.
I can't stand those. Elections do matter. We have to get out and vote. We have to get more people out and vote, as a matter of fact. And there are more conservatives than there are Democrats. And that's what you have to believe, because we're on the right side. We just have to get them to the polls, and we have to not have that narrative. I'm sorry. Every vote counts. And we have more people, I promise.
Yep.
So why aren't they voting?
Because people have that narrative, or they're inconvenienced, or they didn't want to stop there after work. And now that there's 9 days early voting and absentee ballots, there's no excuse. And we just have to keep promoting that. Mm-hmm. I know, like, I have several family members that are like, oh, it doesn't bother me, or it doesn't affect me. And you just have to constantly reiterate economy, life.
Bones Mama on going back to the MLK statue says it's a BBC. Gross. Charlotte Cosmic says Art Hunter did it.
Well, Hunter the artist, I forgot. He's moved on to sculptures from paintings.
Hunter did it. That was awesome.
Yeah. Cal Decker says, in defense of my representative Jim DeSanta, he could not vote no matter what for a pro-abortion speaker. As devout Catholic, we have no apologies or shame for that. None at all. We're standing for higher standards. We either approach our state and community with a conscience, or we don't deserve to have one all. Well, you could make that argument for anything else in the universe too, though. You could say, I'm not going to vote for anybody who's voted for a war I disagree with, where innocent people die. I mean, every public policy kills some number of people, you know. Anything relating to economics, you know, the border security causes people to die of fentanyl.
I love Adam's spins right now and everything. That's not what he's thinking. Like it doesn't conform to his
true.
thought.
Every single. I mean, if you want to moralize about any public policy, they're all moral questions. Every single one of them.
Yes. And that's why we fight as Republicans and don't hold ourselves to lesser standards. I agree with you, Cal. Thank you.
Well, if your goal is to protect innocent life, don't you want to do whatever it takes to be able to retake power, to be able to do that?
I don't want to lie for somebody to get a committee assignment. I think that anybody can make a change writing legislation and they don't need a committee to do it. I think right now being in the minority is going to be difficult with even having a committee assignment. So F it and just be loud as hell and fight against the committees then. I think it's probably going to work out for the best not having these people on committees so they can actually raise good arguments outside of not having to have a committee assignment taken away and being afraid of it. So you can actually be a legislator and not have something dangling over your head. That's my thought.
Now, committees are great opportunities to be able to get information out of people, to be able to make public statements about issues. If being on a committee wasn't a benefit, people wouldn't be on committees. I mean, it's not the legislative thing that some people think it is, but it's a bully pulpit that you'd rather have than not have. And
I guess we don't know what it's going to look like with the Dems heading it anyway. So,
well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Bill Hamilton says Trump needs to stop talking about stolen elections. It's over. All that does is give people an excuse not to vote. You're correct, Bill. That is true.
I agree with
he and other people too. But you'll be called a rhino for saying that.
And that's a double-edged sword, right? So it's the people who agree with him, then they don't vote. They think their vote doesn't count. And the people who are sick and tired of hearing him, like the independents, won't go our way. So it's like a double whammy.
Yeah. Bill Hamilton says, any bets who will be the GOP chair? Lol. I don't know, Bill. And I don't know if you're talking about state or national. I am certainly rooting for Harmeet Dillon. I do not believe in rewarding failure. And Rana has failed 3 times in a row now over 6 years and 3 cycles. State, who in the world knows? I have not done any polling, and I also couldn't care. But I would say probably Christina, only because I know John Yob is an expert at conventions and he's working for her. But who knows?
Which is the reason not to vote for Christina. Honestly.
I don't disagree, but there's also good reasons not to vote for a lot of the other ones too.
Are any of the other ones working with a consultant?
I mean, probably,
Scott
but I
Green
think
is a consultant.
Exactly. I think Yob has been Yob is one of the biggest problems we have with our state party. So
yeah, but then again, so is Matt DePerno, and so is JD Glazer, and so is all the other candidates for district for state chair. So yeah,
I have my pick, but I'm not going to say it on rescue.
I have been switching back and forth between who is my unpick for the very worst, and it changes from day to day. I don't have a pick, and I would never endorse any of them. Bill Hamilton, yeah. Amen. Amen. Michonne apparently came out for Matt DePerno. She'll just divide her list and make people mad at each other. So good for her.
Well, she's not really doing, she's doing her own thing. So
yeah. Cal says what's concerning or positive depends on how one looks at it. In 2022, red states got more red and blue states got bluer. Is there an argument that this country is on the eve of balkanization in ways we haven't yet fathomed? Fortify, hold your ground.
I agree with fortifying and holding your ground. Absolutely. Cal, you're like my new best friend.
The balkanization thing, people have been saying this for years and years and years.
But not doing it. They've been saying it, but not doing it. There's no active process to fortifying red areas that I've seen a plan that actually works or that people are actually doing.
Building precinct organizations. That's the main thing.
Well, yeah. I mean, in West, you can tell everybody they want and train everybody they want, but unless they go and hold their hands, you don't know if they're really doing it.
Well, we'll see. I am looking forward to implementing a program in our county. My goal is to build 150 precinct organizations in 2 years. And
That
whatever we
sounds
do, we're
lovely.
going to try to replicate everywhere.
150 precinct organizations. You have 150
many-
precincts in Washtenaw?
Yeah. That's how many precincts we have. Bones Mama on Rumble says, but then again, there are more people every day seeing things just now about the election issues, and they're seeing it too. They're popping up on YouTube, which means they're new, or else they would have been taken down already. Maybe. I mean, people come and go every new cycle. That's just the way it is. Tons of people came in during the Tea Party wave, and
people get burned out.
People get burned out. That's. Yep. I mean, I'm heading there. I don't know. Give me 2 more years, and I'll be in a loony bin or in Arkansas.
Yeah. Well,
why Arkansas? Do they have beaches?
No. Why Arkansas? Because you never think about Arkansas. I literally was driving on a road trip to Tennessee, and I go, "Where is one place that I've never thought about living?" I said Arkansas, and I'm like, "Bam! I'll go to Arkansas."
But it was the governor of Arkansas.
Yeah, Sarah.
Bill Clinton.
Oh yeah, that too. But Sarah Huckabee Sanders is now. But they have great growing seasons. I can get a $300,000 house and like 30 acres for like dirt cheap. It's great with a giant house. Can live.
You know where I want to live? Point Roberts, Washington. You know where that is?
In Washington.
But not really. It's in Vancouver, Canada. It's this tiny little itty bitty pippic that dangles down under the 49th parallel. And it's a tiny little village of like 1,000 people. And you just go up to Vancouver, and the border guards only know the people that live there.
Vancouver.
So you get to hang out in Canada all day long, but then you live in the United States.
But then you pay Canada, yeah, you pay Canada prices, and gas is ridiculous.
Yeah, Vancouver's a cool city, though. Sorry, it just is.
I think is it anymore? I think it's. I think it's on par with
you want to hang out in Canada. You're talking against Republicans. Who are you, Adam? Who are you?
Hey, I don't know. Maybe Canada has changed, but I don't know. When I went to Vancouver when I was, I think, 20, it was a really cool place.
I can't live in Florida, Cal, because there's too much population, and when the zombies really do come and try to eat our brains in the form of humans, I want to be on an acre. I want like lots and lots of land between me and people.
Yeah, Florida's great too, but I would not leave Michigan because, well, first of all, I can't. I'm politically rooted here, and I don't think I got a lot of email from people. Oh, Michigan's done. I'm moving to Florida. I'm like, you know what? Running is not a political strategy for the long term, guys. It's not.
True. It's true.
Yeah. And by the way, the congressional district boundaries are set for the next 10 years.
And I'm not a political operative. Like I'm here to do a job, and if I don't do a job, just like you said, if I keep failing at my job, then I don't deserve to be in this. So I'm gonna just move.
Apparently, Barry was incorrect about Michonne coming out for Matt DePerno. So apologize to anyone for repeating that when I had not verified that either. So there you go. Yeah, move to Lapeer County. Only 88,000 people, plenty of room, bright red county, and you get to go to the Marguerite D'Angeli Memorial Library in downtown Lapeer. That's my great grandma. So
that is actually really, really cool. Maybe one of these days, but probably not.
Lapeer is a nice town, and I think they've got a much better state rep than they had last term. In fact, I know they do because they couldn't get much.
They have a Lucky's Steakhouse. They have a Lucky's, right?
I don't know. Anyway, guys, we got to move on. We're almost at 9:40, and I'd about to end the show because we haven't covered a huge topic yet, which is there's this little thing called legislative season that's happening now, and we have heard from sources in Lansing that the first tranche of Democrat bills that they're going to try to ram through include repealing the right to work law. That's a huge thing. We just did an email blast about that tonight. It should have gone out earlier, but it's just been a crazy weekend for me. But we got to hit hard on fighting back on this right to work law. There was some rumors that there might be some Republicans voting with the Democrats on this. From what I have heard, they have been brought back onto the reservation. It only takes one Democrat to stick with a no on that, and they can't repeal right to work. That's worth trying to do as best we can, especially those of us who live in swing districts, to really organize and mobilize. We kicked out an email saying, sign this petition, spread it around, get those legislators' emails lit up. And I've said this before on the show, but it bears repeating because not everybody has seen every show I've ever done. Your petitions really do work, people. And you know who's telling you not to send in petitions? Politicians and the doomsayers and the people that say, don't do anything, it's all a scam and blah, blah, blah. The politicians do care what their constituents think, and they do care about causing controversy. And when they get a ton of letters, it does get them to think, maybe we shouldn't try to rush this through in a moment's notice. And it's a big issue. I mean, we're talking about, Yeah, Phil says right to work is a necessity in Michigan. Yeah, our economy was absolutely in the dump before we passed right to work. And it's not just the economic issue. It's not just the moral issue that you're taking money from people under penalty of being fired if they don't pay dues to the union. The unions are the big funders of the radical left, people, or one of them, I should say. I mean, who do you think's putting those transgender books in schools? It's the teachers' union.
Yeah.
You want
Could
those
you imagine
teachers
if they
unions
have
to have
more
a
money?
They were bragging on Twitter because I think every education committee, education and something else, they're all former teachers are chairing those committees now.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Yeah.
Sick.
Yep. Well, it's not just the education committee, it's the vote of the whole House that they're going to need to get it through, and the Senate. And some of those people might not want to lose majority, but they have to feel the pressure. And they judge the pressure by how many letters they get. And,
well, I know 8 of them that are going to vote now. 8 Republicans who are going to vote now.
I think we're going to have 54 Republicans voting. How many Republicans do we have? 54, is that right?
52. Yeah. Isn't it 52 to 54?
It's 50.
What about the other 4 seats? No, that doesn't add up to 110.
It's 55 seats. No,
it's 110
55,
seats.
55, 50,
56, 54 would be.
Yes,
that's
it's
what
56, 54.
So 54 so I was right the first time. 54 Republicans ought to be voting no, and it just takes 1 Democrat. And I actually was talking to some people.
Maybe they'll get along to get along. Go along to get along.
The Democrats.
The Republicans.
To go along with this is the distinction. That's a policy bill. It's a policy bill.
Yeah. Okay, so they voted with them for COVID.
Yeah.
Right? Did they fight for us for COVID for 2 years? No.
Well, we'll see. And if any of them do vote with the Democrats, they're going to be our first targets. I promise you that. But I was telling someone today, the politicians, I've heard this directly from politicians. Someone told me, Lana Tice told me, I only read handwritten letters. I don't read form letters. And this is one of these myths that politicians tell everybody. Folks, if a politician gets a stack of postcards that all say the exact same thing and come from an organization versus a stack of handwritten individual letters, you know what the difference is? That stack of pre-printed postcards came from a list from an organization that might organize those people again during the election. They care more about those than those handwritten letters. They tell you got to write a handwritten letter to get you not to write it. Mm-hmm. But when they hear from constituents and they realize there's votes in play and maybe their majority in play, that's when they back off. That's when they slow down. That's when they start saying, I don't want to do this. Yeah. And that's what we have to do. That's why. And by the way, guys, you're going to get a lot of emails from us for the next year and a half, 2 years, saying sign this petition to the legislature. Because guess what? They work. And if you guys have your own organizations, you should do it too. Petitions not only change policymakers' minds, they also grow your organization.
So I have
you
a
get
question.
People's names in your list. That's how this thing works.
I have a question. So if I wanted to send out a form letter from Oakland County, how would I use your software to do that?
That's a good question. I will show you. I've got to add.
That wasn't even a segue to that, guys. But plug in.
That was perfect. No, actually, I need to update our homepage so that it actually has this petition on it.
And I need to do this, but I need it to be like super, super, super dubbed down so I can do it.
Well, let me show you. Hold on. I actually have to open our own email blast to get the link to it. So let me do that, and then you will see. So this is our petition page. Let me, I got to open it on the screen. This is our petition page, and we've got many other petitions we've done over the last couple of years. And it's super easy. What happens is there's a text of the petition. I have to read it word for word, but there you go. And when you put in your information, that's not my real email address, by the way. That's the email address I give to, online stores that have compulsory registration. And you have the option, by the way, on our petition pages to include your email address or not. So if you don't want to give the politician your email address, you can do that. And the cool thing is we have the new district maps. We've got the new lawmakers' names and everything. So when you click send message, it will actually send it to your own state rep or senator. If in your zip code, there might be more than one possible, it'll give you the choice. It'll help you figure out which one's yours. So in this case, my zip code dips into Felicia Brabeck's district, but you see that most of the zip code is in this one's, and there she is, and that is my rep. And my zip code happens to sit on a county line, so it's asking who's your state senator, and I can just see it says here Washtenaw County is this guy, so that's me. So he is my state senator. But if you're on the other side, you would choose the other one. And there's even the option, if you can't figure it out, I don't know, just send it to both of them and let them figure it out. Oh, you can't see in the drop-down menu, but there's an option there too to choose. I don't know, just send it to both of them and let them sort it out. So you can do that as well. And then you just click to send the email. And I've already sent this, so I won't send it again, but you can just do that and it'll literally fire off the email to them right away. And it goes right to their office. And I'll show you one other cool thing.
But this is from Rescue, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how would we do it where like Oakland County could get the info?
Well, for one thing, if you go to Rescue Michigan and you create a user account and you log in, you can actually create your own petitions. You see all these different petitions we've done in the last couple of years. You can make your own petitions. And you can actually get the list of people that sign them too. So you can grow your organization and contact the lawmakers. And so you can do lots of good work using our tools.
You're a genius.
Fancy? Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes after I try to burst your bubble of brilliance, I say my own words.
Yeah, every now and then, every once in a while. Would you like to make a bet on some future events or something? No. Oh, someone asked me in the beginning, what did you say your predictions for 23? What did you say your predictions for 23 are, Adam? It's going to be a long, nasty slog. That's what. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know. Democrats are going to try every kind of crazy thing in the world. And all we can do is keep trying to fight them. Cal Decker says, I actually adore arguments, debates, and hatching amongst ourselves. I don't fear it, thrive, and it's motivating.
Iron sharpens iron.
Yep, no hard feelings at all. It's good for us. I love you all. As the old saying goes, iron sharpens iron. Yes, thank you, Cal. That's
any Rumble messages?
That's true. I was going to say, I'm going to go back and check Rumble
Juju
again.
Poo-poo.
Juju beads.
Charlotte Cosmic says, Adam, wake up. I don't know what that was in reference to.
I think that they were on Patty and I's side. I'm so glad you're on because I was afraid that Shane wouldn't be on to be like on my side. So
Charlotte says, I think it's in relation to petitions. Thank you for letting me know that. I sent tons out and the only ones that replied are Debbie Stab Me Now. I will keep emailing and sending notices and affidavits. Cam Bycraft says, but I could forward this to a friend who would like to sign. Absolutely, you can.
But just be careful because if you forward emails and they unsubscribe, you're unsubscribed.
Yeah, I've had that happen. People tell me I've had to tell people we did this. We started our Operation Watchdog this past week and some people were unsubscribed. If you forward our emails around, do me a favor and just delete that little unsubscribe link at the bottom because some people will click that for you. And and then we lose you.
Yep.
But anyway,
and it's such a pain in the butt to reload you into the system.
So it unsubscribes the original person. Okay.
Yeah. Now, I would also say, because this, I think, came up in that question or that statement Charlotte just made about sending out tons of these petitions to her U.S. senator. Not every organization is the same as Rescue Michigan, folks, and some of them might not actually even send them. I guarantee you they're all using them to list build, and that's okay as long as they're actually delivering the petitions.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes these petitions, read them carefully. Like our petitions are going to our state legislators, but if they're like a petition to nobody in particular saying, I oppose blah, 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 they might not even be going anywhere. And then they're just for nothing other than to build their list. And those, you got to do your homework and know who to trust. And not every organization is as full of integrity as we are. So, just saying. But yeah, if an organization has credibility and they're honorable, when you sign a petition to your lawmakers, they're delivering them on a timely basis. And I'll tell you, when I worked in legislatures, we get petitions and phone calls. And when I worked in Bendevolio's office, it was during the Sandy Hook gun rights debacle. We were getting tons and tons and tons and tons of letters from pro-gun and anti-gun constituents. And the anti-gun people weren't like, oh, it's Kerry Bendevolio, I'm not going to bother sending a petition. No, we got thousands of them. Thousands of them.
And that's a problem we do have as Republicans. We're like, well, I have a Dem anyway. Why does it matter? Why vote anyway? Why does it matter?
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I mean, I've seen Republican lawmakers going, oh, I'm getting attacked by these Democrats and I don't want to do this. A lot of them are really, really wimpy. And that's the way that goes.
Mm-hmm.
And
there's 8 of them that aren't, though. 8 strong ones.
Whatever. But they're hoping that they can get a Republican to buckle on right to work. And they almost succeeded. There's a few of them that they're like,
when are they voting? They haven't voted yet.
Exactly.
No, but they were getting ready to. And they were reaching out to Republicans in blue collar swing districts and trying to get them to vote no on the right to work repeal. Because if you vote yes to support right to work, we're going to come after you. Because if they wouldn't anyway. Exactly. But that's the way that goes. That is the way that goes. So, and at the end of the day, too, politicians are people, and when they get lots of letters, it hurts their feelings when they're telling them to not do what they're doing, and every little bit does matter. So, staff try to shield them from it, but they see them, and the more you get in their faces at these district meetings, John O'Reilly was in a safe Republican seat. You don't think we had Democrats come to every one of our meetings and browbeating him? That's the way they operate. And they do it because it works. If you want to see what works, do what the Democrats do. You want to see what doesn't work, do what Republicans do.
Well, maybe usually. One of these days we will change the narrative.
Yeah. Well, here's to trying.
Here's to trying.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's about all I've got for this week. I think
it was a good show. I think we actually had a really good discussion. It wasn't just the Adam D'Angeli show. I really liked it. Maybe we'll come back next week.
Hey, I'm the first one to say I'm the first one to say we need less than me on this show. So anyway, it's not officially booked yet, but save the date, February 25th. I'm probably doing a grassroots leadership school in Ann Arbor. Email about that will go out once the location and everything's confirmed.
The week after convention.
So save the date. After that, I'm having my first big fundraiser for Oakland County on February 25th at a event place in Pontiac at 7 p.m.
Didn't Adam say February 25th?
Yeah.
Yep.
My date's already out there though. So after you're done in Ann Arbor, come over to
on this
Oakland.
Show it wasn't. All right. Well, maybe we will. Yeah, our event will be over at 5, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
It doesn't start till 7.
Cindy asks if I want to be part of Operation Watchdog but can't make the training, will I be able to catch it later? Yes, actually, I got to send out a follow-up to the people that signed up for Operation Watchdog. We did our first weekly call last Tuesday, and we do keep all of the recordings. It's in an archive. I just have to give everybody access to it, so we will work that out before tomorrow night's meeting. If you are not already signed up for Operation Watchdog, just go to the homepage of rescuemichigan.com. There's a nice action alert right there. And just click that link and put in your info and which committees you want to sign up for. By the way, hilariously on our call this past Tuesday, I was just saying, you know what? I bet some of these committee names are going to be changed by the Democrats. I'll bet they take the word ethics out of the elections committee. And sure enough, like literally during the call, I looked on the House website and they did rename some committee names, and they did take the word ethics out of the elections committee's name. So
because they have no ethics.
Precisely.
Amen.
That was the joke.
Can I list some stuff that's happening in Oakland?
I caught onto that.
Yes, Amber, go ahead.
Okay.
What happened?
So if you are not part of and you want to be part of the Oakland County Republican Party email, we've got that up and going. Got a newsletter now. So just email me at executive director, all spelled out, at oaklandgop.org. But we have the Farewell to the 11th event on the 17th at Overtime Bar and Grill in Waterford. And it's at 7. And it's kind of, if you don't know what a congressional district looks like and you want to be prepared for February when we go to state convention, come check it out. Again, Overtime Bar and Grill, 7 p.m. on the 17th. On the 18th, we're having our first executive committee meeting. That's going to be great. That's in Waterford as well at 7 p.m. And then we have a precinct delegate activist leadership training on the 21st at OCRP at 9 a.m. So a lot of stuff this week.
Awesome. Yep, we got stuff we're doing this week too, but one of them is getting our calendar figured out.
We don't have a committee yet.
Oh yeah, your convention hasn't even happened yet. Yours is like a week from Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all of our conventions are the 26th.
Right. Yeah.
But Wayne County hasn't had none in December, which is unusual. So
Yeah.
because you guys are weird like that.
That's normal.
No, it's not.
Normal in one county out of 83.
Yeah.
Cal
I
says,
love
may the
that.
spirit of the Lord be with you. Stay blessed and stay in trouble. Thank you, Cal. We will do
Stay
our
in
best.
trouble.
All right.
Love it. That's a good
And
way to end
good night,
it.
everybody. Thanks, as always, for all you do for liberty. And we'll be back, as always, as usual, at least next Sunday at 9 as well. And, of course, Tuesdays, I'll do the watchdog calls, too. So sign up for that. All right. Have a good one, everybody.